Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Dobie, and today I've got a special young lion with me on the line by the name of Phoenix FYA. This young man is a multi-instrumentalist. He is a rapper, singer, songwriter, producer, engineer. There's not much that he doesn't do. Thanks for being with us today, man.
Man, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Besides my intro from the outside looking in, talk to us about Phoenix FYA.
Man, Phoenix FYA. I mean, the whole idea is just the real saying of you can do anything. I mean, I just feel like any art form, since I've been young, I just felt like, why is being an artist and being in a genre so confined? I just thought that if you are an artist, if you are anything who is giving people something to enjoy, such as an entertainer, you can do it in any genre, in any art form, and combine it and make it a bigger thing than you. And that's
Right.
really the image of Phoenix FYA.
Okay. You started early, what, like 10?
Yeah, 10 years old.
All right. So, but what was the defining moment that made you decide that this music industry was for you as a career?
Music industry was for me. I mean, a lot of talks, a lot of talks with my parents. I mean, they've been a huge support group for my development in my artist, my artist style and my artist, um, my mental way that I think about things. I look to the greats. I look to J. Cole, Drake, Chris Brown. I mean, I love to listen to their music and just make a combination. And I started as a producer, and
Okay.
I really loved producing when I was 10 years old. I hopped on the studio, and then basically a year in, I was like, why don't I just make my own songs? Why don't I just write to my own beats? And I just started doing that. And then it just started becoming this whole thing where I love producing rap and all the way over to orchestrations for movies. I mean, I love to produce anything in between, and it's just amazing to me to portray a feeling, an emotion through a song, and it's just so beautiful to me. And I just don't see any barriers with it. But yeah, I started producing when I was 10, and now I'm just a full-fledged producer, mixer, artist,
All right.
and yeah.
So you're what, 16 now?
I'm about to turn 16.
About to turn 16. So
Yeah,
you've been doing it for a few years.
yeah.
Um, and it's crazy because you started out on what, Logic, one of the most complicated production DAWs that you have to work.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, man. What else? You did Logic and what was the other program?
I did a little bit of Logic and dabble a little bit in Ableton, but mainly just Logic. And when I was in a studio for a while, like 2 years ago, when I was in a studio down in LA, I did a little bit of Pro Tools work, but really mainly just Logic.
Okay. And what made you take to Logic so much? That's one of I hear that's one of the most difficult platforms to use to
It,
produce.
I will say that using that DAW has really made every other DAW a little bit of a ease just to go into. I mean, it's kind of amazing how I just started on it because my dad, who
Okay.
had a starting little studio when I was on it when I was 10 years old, which, was probably the reason why I went on the studio. I just saw these shiny, flickering dots on the keyboards and everything. I was like, oh, that looks so cool. And I just got on it. But, using Logic, I mean, it's really helped make everything easier. And it's just my base. It's just my base. It's what I used before I knew that there was anything easier. So I just used it anyways.
All right, makes sense. So,
Yeah.
man, talk to us about your current project. I mentioned earlier off air that I'm tripping on gas. You made the top 10 list on spin. Um, dude, you got some major accomplishments already, but talk to us about this project.
Yeah, this new project, I basically had two singles out before this EP came out, which is Gassed Up and Death is Trying, and those are my 2020 songs. But this new project, this EP, which was the party was celebrating it on June 17th, June 27th. I really think this project was a collaboration of so many things. It was a huge work in progress for a long time, and it was just me spending a lot of my energy creating this idea over this the give and take is what the EP is called. So the give and take, basically what you'd give to get to where you want to be
Mm,
and what is taken from you in the process.
right.
And it's just a collaboration of songs that state the in essence, basically what it takes to become a star, and what I and my understanding of it at my age right now. So I mean, the whole thing was just great. We had a band, DJ Charisma showed up. We had our own little studio. We had our own little thing. You know, the whole night it was just a beautiful process and great event. And I really couldn't ask for more from that night. But yeah.
Yeah, you had a heavy hitter, DJ Charisma. That's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I love the fact that you had the live band. That was pretty amazing. Do you like performing with the live band as opposed to performing with a track?
I think that it just allows an outlet for more creativity, for more diversity from the original track, because of course a hip hop track hits harder than, a live version of it. But I just felt like it was cool and smooth to have in that room that night, and I just really enjoyed putting putting that beautiful band that was put together by my man Daryl Diaz on the keyboards. He was the music constructor, but I mean, it was beautiful how they so quickly, and I was able to see how quickly, these professional musicians really did stuff, and it was amazing, and they played it so well. I enjoy it just because it gives me an outlet, so I can, let the song run a little bit after, just have a little jam session, and I pulled out my guitar and just played with them a little bit. It was just nice. It keeps the creativity going. So if I was to say that I enjoy playing with the band, it's because of the creativity. But yeah.
Okay. But playing with the band is not really a strange thing for you. You have some orchestral experience.
Yeah. I play live instruments. I play guitar, bass, violin, piano. All those. So it's it's not that it's that different. It's
Right.
just that the sound, it can give a totally different vibe. A hard hitting track can be more inspirational just because of the instruments you put on it. So it's just cool that I was able to be kind of like an orchestrator with my music that night, and it was just a great experience.
Okay. So, what do you want your listeners to get from your music, bro?
Listeners to get from my music, every song that I try to make, um, I know what it's going to be from just when I hear the melody. I don't ask me to explain that, but I just know that what the song is going to be from the melody that I create. And it just allows me to make the whole process of the song, making the song, the lyrics, every other aspect of the track when I make it, to be about the topic that I want it to be about. So it's really just that every song that I make, I put a little bit of some sort of message that you can get from it. And most of the things that I say may not seem as if they have every line as a double meaning, but every line basically has a double meaning. And it's just about, like, this project is all based on the give and take.
Okay.
And uh future albums, future EPs, future singles will all have a name that is giving a story to what it's about. So really, what I want them to take is to understand that when a artist makes something, that you should go deeper into the lyrics, and you should see the double meanings, because everything that is shown to you isn't all that there is all the
Right.
time.
Okay. I like that. You're pretty deep for just getting ready to be 16. Um, where does your outlook come from?
My outlook, really just my household. I mean, everybody in my household, my mom's a writer.
Okay.
My dad's a R&B singer. He's a musician himself, so it's it's been a come up of understanding perspectives. And I love the word perspective because it's relative to everything that we do.
Right.
If you're not having a good time with somebody or whatever, it's often to do with perspectives of how you see each other. It's often to do with that. So it's just understanding. It's a teaching that I was taught, that you need to understand everybody is doing their own thing. And I really appreciate that I can understand what I'm going forward for, because I understand what I want to do and how to treat everybody around me. That's really what it is. And it's just my household. I mean, like I said, my whole progress has been to my family. I wouldn't be anywhere without them. They've taught me basically everything that I know in the
Right.
in the
Right.
deep side. So yeah, it's really just for my family.
What's the most satisfying for you about making music?
Most satisfying for me, I would say that's a good question. The most satisfying thing for me about making music is when is when I the most satisfying thing when I make music is when I know that is when the story is complete. I
Okay.
guess I should say, when the song is done. It doesn't mean that it's done with mixing. It doesn't mean that it's done mastering or whatever. It means that the story is complete, and that's one of the best things that I appreciate about music, because every song is a story, and whether it's a very short story or a long story, it's some sort of story, and it's been a uh, very accepting household when it came to listening to music, because my mom listens to everything, and my dad listens to a lot of different genres, and I was able to combine a whole lot of different genres that use this long 4 or 5 minute song. But I know that those aren't popular these days, so I'm trying to combine the story aspect of song making
Mm.
and put it into my songs, and that's one of the best experiences in music for me.
There's a difference. Like when I grew up, songs could be 4, 5, 6 minutes. I mean, what is the longest running song with Planet Rock? It's like one of the longest songs ever created,
Yeah.
15 minutes or something like that. It's,
Yeah.
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 So things have changed and people's attention span has changed. But I gotta ask you this, man, with all the sounds that you hear and the songs that you make and having being surrounded by music, are you able to just vibe out to music as a consumer, or do you find yourself analyzing the product all the time?
I do find myself at times just able to really enjoy other people's art,
Right.
because I have the I understand that they've made this, and if I made it, it would have to be for a reason. So it's a finished art piece. Like if I walked up to a painting on the wall, and I'm not going to be like, oh well, you totally forgot this part right here. It's
Right.
all in the eye of the creator of the art piece. So when I look at other people's art, I really have no critiques. It's just a matter of if I vibe with it or not. It doesn't really have anything to do with my opinion. It's just about what they created.
Okay. What's been one of the highlights of your career so far?
Probably, probably the. I mean, okay. This The experience of shooting the video gassed up was definitely a great experience. I mean, my filmmakers for my directors for that music video, they had such a vision of
Mm.
what they wanted to do, and it made it so easy for
Okay.
me to give my ideas, and then they were able to just run with it, just be like, okay, we could do this, we could do that, we could do all this stuff. It was so great. They were so happy. Everything was just flowing. We were able to shoot on the airplane set and everything. So it was just great. It was a great full day, and I felt like we got a lot of stuff accomplished, and we really did, and it was really fun.
Okay. Do you have a favorite joint that you would use to introduce Phoenix Fire to new listeners?
Favorite joint. Probably something from my new EP. It would definitely be everybody. Probably
Okay.
everybody from my new EP would definitely be something of what I would like to show. I mean, you know, I can show you a little bit of it if you want.
Yeah,
I
let's rock.
Yeah, everybody, man. I mean, yeah. I ain't trying to please nobody. I ain't even really trying to see nobody. I'm just trying to get up on the scene, nobody. Hitting harder than Lee's low body. Rather be in the studio, red lights on, barriers and points. I'm getting across. She's special, but I got better things to move on. Point A to point B. My final resort be 2 shoes, but I got 4 strings. What I'm doing better than some fling, not sure of her intentions, trying to figure it out. Out of time, tricking the route, never out of focus. The goal is never to return to the roaches burnt up.
Okay, young lion. There you go. I like it. All right. So that to you means what? Is presenting what part of you?
That specific verse right there, presenting what part of me? That's a good question. I would say that is presenting more of a distancing part of me. It's a I ain't trying to please nobody. I ain't even really trying to see nobody. So it's more of just it's more of like what I think on the it's just more of like what most I feel think on the inside, but then have to portray something on the outside. And it's something of this and it also for the COVID is it was a time for me for sure. I mean, it was hard to get inspiration through COVID. I mean, I wasn't allowed to have anybody in the studio with me. I think that it was a time for me to really just look in deep on myself and understand what I wanted to make at the time instead of having to have this energy. It's cool to have this energy around you to be like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, that's cool. But then it's like, you know, what did I really want to do? And then I was stumped for 30 minutes, an hour at a time, like what should I do? And then throughout the end of it, I have my process now of dealing with it. So the whole song is based on a distancing, though kind of showing what I've been doing through the process of my distancing. Is kind of like that.
I love it. I love it. I love talking, man. It's dope. So what's next for you? I mean, the upcoming EP. Tell us the name of the EP again.
Oh yeah, the give and take.
The give and take. So you've got that coming up. You got more performances now that the world has opened up a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to see performances real soon. Yeah.
Okay. Do you like being on stage, or do you like to just be in the studio?
I love being in both. It has its own upsides. I mean, you know, being in the studio allows you to be creative on the spot with the people who you are around, but being on stage, it allows you to show what you've created to many people at a time, and you can't really ask for that, you know. I
Right.
mean, you can play your songs on the radio and all that stuff, but you know, when you get to literally talking to people on stage, it's a different feeling. You're literally giving them what you want to hear, what you want them to hear.
That energy you receive back kind of boosts you up and keeps you going.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Okay. All right. Is there anything you wanted to cover, brother, that I may have missed?
No real questions I think that we need to cover, but I mean, you know, I've like I said, I have some performances coming up soon. You know, very soon. I have collaborations that I hope to be doing this summer. We got some new songs coming up after this EP, and it's gonna have a lot more content just pumping out real soon. And you know, if you guys want to follow me, just go to my website at phoenixfya.com. Go to my Instagram at Phoenix_the_FYA, Phoenix the Fire, and just check out that stuff to see where I'm going to be going.
All right, man. I appreciate your time. I hope you come back and visit us again, man, as you continue to progress.
Of course, of course.
Wishing you much continued success, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everybody, the Hype Magazine live sessions, Phoenix FYA. Stay tuned for this young lion. He's kicking up much dust, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does and contributes to the industry. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.